Hello, my dudes! Welcome back to another episode of DJ Lobo's Funhouse. And in today's episode, we're gonna check out this really cool comic book here, Tomb of Dracula. Because I hate vampires, dude. And this comic book here was written by Marv Wolfman. Marv Wolfman? I think that's my uncle. He was a vampire hunter too, dude. Did you hear something? I gotta go.
Hello? I could swear I heard something. Oh well. Probably the wind again. Oh! What do we have here? Freshly brewed coffee for Mr. KH. Very nice. Mm-mm-mm. The Tomb of Dracula? Never heard of him. By Marv Wolfman? This isn't what we're doing today. Hello! Welcome back to another episode of Shakakapow Halloween. Tell me, have you ever tried to say Shakakapow like really fast many times in a row? Like Shakakapow, 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 Shakakapow. Yeah, me neither. Okay, so we're back, and in today's episode I have something cool lined up for you guys. I thought it was about time that we did another comic book review. Yeah. Okay. So today we are gonna take a look at Shock Shop. Oh, wait. Sorry about that. My bad. I was holding it upside down. So today we are gonna take a look at Shock Shop. What the? Oh, I see what's going on. So this is a horror anthology with two stories in one. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter where you start. This is a comic book by Cullen Bunn. He's the writer in both of the stories. And this comic book was published by Dark Horse Comics. And I believe it came out in 2023. Yeah. Yes. So, we've done some Cullen Bunn comic books here on the channel before. And I think my favorite Cullen Bunn comic book is probably Brothers Dracul, though Unholy Grail is also very high up on my list. He's done a lot of horror stuff. Okay, so Shock Shop, Volume 1. Yeah, maybe we'll get more. What is this all about, you say? Well, it's very inspired from old, like 80s, 90s horror shows or comics like Tales from the Crypt, Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah. Okay, let's have a look. So we can start with this story here. So it's Shock Shop Volume 1. Something in the woods. In the dark. In the woods. No, it's just called Something in the Woods in the Dark. And the artist here is Danny Luckert. Alright. And what's really cool is that on the first page here we are introduced to this weird lady, this strange character named Desdemona Nimue Moreau. I mean, they could have picked an easier name. But okay, so she is our host, very much like the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt, and she runs a comic book shop. But not just any comic book shop. Here in this shop, like in the corners, we have like spiders and tentacles, and it seems like there's a monster in the basement. And yeah, I mean, I used to work in a comic book shop back in the days up in northern Norway, and we also had like tentacles and ghouls and spiders and all sorts of stuff. So, I mean, I can relate to this. Alright, now our first story is about a bunch of friends going camping in the woods, in the dark. And yeah, among these friends, you have a couple having some issues, and they're hoping to patch things up during this camping trip. It's not a cabin in the woods, it's just camping in the woods. Yeah. And I mean, that's okay and all, but out of the two stories, I must say that I enjoyed the other story more, because this story has a lot of characters, and I mean, from very early on, bad stuff start to happen and people start to die. So it doesn't, you take a lot of time with a build up, and as I said, there are a lot of characters, but you don't really get to know any of them or get invested in the story and the characters outside of maybe the couple, the main two characters. But yeah, the cool thing about this comic book is definitely the art style, and this is very much a kind of a story you would find in Tales from the Crypt and old horror stuff. And in between the chapters, we get more of our host. There's Demona Nimu Moreau, and she shows us more of her comic book story. Alright, I mean, I'm not going to go more into the story here. You just have these bunch of people getting killed off in the woods. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look at the other side. So here we have a story called Familiars. Again by Cullen Bunn, but the art is by Layla Lays. And the art style is very different. Like in the first story, you have this very gritty and realistic art. Looks, and yeah, you have a lot of gore and blood and it's very violent and gory in the first story. So it has that going for it, which is pretty cool. But the second story is a bit more, the style is more sketchy and cartoony. I mean, this definitely gave me the Goosebumps feel. Didn't actually give me Goosebumps, but yeah. Okay. On the first page, again, we have our host, and this time around, she's showing us like how she plans to deal with these strange customers outside of her store. We have these zombies and ghouls, and she's ready to chase them away with a chainsaw. I used to do that as well. Okay, so our story starts with this guy, Trevor, and he's just bought a house because him and his ex have, broken up, and he needed somewhere to stay, so he bought a house. And then we see him like move his stuff into the house, and after that he's very tired, so he just collapses and goes to bed. But the next morning when Trevor wakes up, all of his stuff has been magically unpacked and like sorted into place. So he's like, what the? Then he walks into the kitchen, and there's like coffee freshly brewed coffee there for him on the table. And he's like, yeah, I mean, happens to me all the time as well. And if you just find like coffee ready for you in the house, why would you question that? I mean, if you start questioning it, it might stop appearing. Don't want that. Okay, so then we see his ex and her new boyfriend dropping off the kids, and they're gonna stay with him for the weekend. And he tells and shows the kids that the house is magic. So apparently there's something strange with the house. And he tells them that, well, there are these, it's a magic house, and there are these kind, cool spirits protecting the house. And the kids are like, are you sure? Are you sure your house is not haunted? Should we be scared? And then he's like, nah, don't worry about it. Nothing to be scared about. And he says, it's just a bunch of happy, helpful little sprites. But then we see on this page that these are not happy little sprites, but these are like monsters and demons, because they can't see these creatures. They can only like feel them or feel their presence because they move things around. Yeah. So this is how our story starts. And then we have, again, as I said, in between chapters, we have more of our host, and she shows us some cool things, and she talks a little bit about these stories as well. And obviously, there's something very bad going on in this house. So, in the next chapter, we get to see more of these monsters and demons, and they're connected to the house. So now they're attached to the owner of the house, Trevor, and they're trying to kind of protect their master, or Trevor, but they're demons and monsters, so obviously they're not going to get it completely right. So they start harming and killing people that they consider a threat to Trevor. Yeah, from there on things go from bad to worse. I'm not gonna give away more. What I will say about this story was it's a lot more focused. You don't have that many characters, and the story takes its time to kind of introduce you to the different people and to what's going on. So this was a pretty cool story, and I was invested. But yeah, anyways, I mean, either way, both of the stories are cool. Not much more to say about Shock Shop. It's a fun little horror comic book. It's not like a very heavy read. 2 short stories. And again, like if you grew up in the 80s or 90s and grew up with Goosebumps and Tales from the Crypt or Creep Show and all that good old horror stuff, then I would definitely recommend that you check this one out. And I hope we get more, because this was very fun. It's a perfect comic book to read for Halloween. Alright, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure to, come by again, because we have more stuff lined up for Halloween. Yeah. I'm gonna drink my coffee, and then I'm gonna go to bed. Shakakapow. 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 Go to bed, Cage.